All right, so I'll say in terms of healthcare, the main thing I think provincially is that we're stuck under the Healthcare Act federally. So we really have no control over our healthcare system. It gets doled out through the federal government. It costs way too much money. And as Ms. Twila just said, they have 3 ministers dealing with healthcare. That would pay for a few more doctors, I would think. Again, like the other candidate said, we have to refocus our healthcare. It's supposed to keep you healthy. Healthcare is supposed to keep you out of the hospital. Hospitals are supposed to be for emergencies. It's a big deal for all of us in terms of how we take care of ourselves. But that also includes the things that we eat. You know, the lifestyles that we live, and all of those things also are in healthcare. So it's more than just more doctors. Even though, you know, more doctors is necessary, more doctors is needed. But if we were honestly all doing what we were supposed to do for ourselves, and being honest, I mean, a gym membership is healthcare. So we have to be doing everything we can do to take care of ourselves. That would be the easiest way to alleviate the healthcare system. But in the short term, you can do things like have voucher systems, meaning if you have an emergency or you have something that you need to see a doctor, the government will provide you a voucher that will allow you to go to another place and get the same service, where a doctor may be more available if you're able to travel. And then for those people who can't, the people who can will alleviate the system for those people. It's a cooperative effort that's going to take everybody, but mainly the province has to maintain control of its own health care. Because truly, as an MLA as it's structured right now, I can't really do anything because we're tied by the federal rules. So that's the way we have to do it. So until that changes, we're kind of stuck with what we got. So we have to fight to change a lot of the policies that are in place now that prevent us from getting the health care that we need, and that prevent us from getting the doctors that we need, and make it easier for doctors from other places in the world to come here and work. You know, we have taxi cab drivers that are doctors. We have Uber drivers that are doctors, but our government won't certify. So I would say that's the bigger problem with healthcare. It's not that we don't have doctors. We have doctors that aren't allowed to work. We have nurses that lost their jobs. And we have all kinds of people that the healthcare system is paying that literally have nothing to do with healthcare.
Healthcare is a problem, as you guys have already heard that. It's a problem not only in our province, but it's a problem all across Canada. Every province has an issue with healthcare. Do I have the answer for to solve this? Nobody here has the answer. We've heard some things that could be applied. Application is a great thing because we can have all kinds of solutions, but until we actually start putting things in place and making it work and following up on it, your health is your health. You have to take some initiative as yourself. But we also got to think about that there is a government that's in power right now. I know the healthcare system that we have right now, it's in bad shape. It didn't start just the last couple of years. It's been on the way happening. It's been getting bad and getting bad. But we would think that it should start getting better, and it hasn't happened. It's actually gotten worse. So we want to make sure that under the Liberal government and under me as your MLA, that I'm going to fight for you tooth and nail. If I have to go to the premier, wherever I have to do, I will fight. Because we don't need to have this anymore. It has to change. There has to be a change. We've got to do something. We know that there are documents. We know that there are ministers. We know that there are hospitals that people go to and are waiting hours upon hours, a month to get into a doctor. And sometimes you're not even seeing a doctor, but rather it's a phone call. I know, I dealt with that. It's time that we start being able to take back some of the authority ourselves as individuals and putting a voice to the people that are in power So if I'm your MLA, speak to me, and I will speak on your behalf with all my might, because I'll fight for you. I'm born and raised in this community of North Preston, and I breathe this air around here. East Preston, North Preston, Cherrybrook, Lake Loon, all of the surrounding communities that make up this constituency. I will fight for you. Was I born to be a politician? Did I go to school and say one day I'm going to grow up and be a politician? I hated politics. I don't want to be a politician, but I just started looking at, my family, and as I drive around and see the conditions of things, and I said, there's got to be some way that I can make a change. There's something I can do, and that is it. Get involved where the meat hits the ground. And then I can be a voice to help bring about change, because it's been too long. It's been too long, and it's not changing, and we need to see change. There's too many of us today that are just lagging behind. We're lagging behind. Our constituency is lagging behind. Our province is lagging behind in Canada. And it's time that we start raising the standards of our healthcare system and bringing about a change. And if I'm elected as your MLA, I will give every inch of me to fight, because that's what I will do for you. Not just East Preston, North Preston, and Cherrybrook, and Lake Loon, because somebody mentioned to me. You got to remember, in the black communities, we always say East Preston, Cherrybrook, and Lake Loon, Cherrybrook and North Preston. And there's a Lake Loon. It's a community. And then there are all the surrounding communities: Westfall, Lake Echo, Minesville. We have to make a change. We have to start living right. We have to start eating right. I mean, some of the stuff that some of us put in our bodies on a regular basis, and then they wonder why you're not losing weight. You wonder why you're getting pains in places. You've heard people say here that, we can take action, proactive action ourselves. If it looks good all the time, it's not good. So let's make a change. And the government that we have in power right now, I think it's time for change. It's time for a change.
Thank you very much, candidates. Can everybody hear me okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now, the carbon tax. The recent federal carbon tax has hit many Nova Scotians hard. And according to the Ted Rogers School of Management, 78% of Canadian employees say they prefer working from home to their regular workplace. Fewer commuters would lead to a drop in vehicle emissions, traffic congestion, and pollution. It would be something that's actually visual for people. It would also mean that more money could be saved on gas, given that no carbon tax in Canada has ever reduced any noticeable emission reductions, and considering the positive effects on the environment by having fewer daily commuters, would you or your party consider leading the way with government employees working from home, as well as introducing tax incentives to encourage other employers to allow their employees to also work from home instead? And I'm going to open the floor to Colter on this one to start.